Okay, this game is called Ultimate Challenge. The object of the game is to try to get all 6 objects on your side. So this red line divides the teams in half. Over here, there's 3 objects. There's a ball, there's a jersey, and a ball. On here, on this side, there's the same objects on this side. In order to win the game, you have to get all 6 of them on your side. Okay, and how you do that is, if I'm on this team over here, and I cross the center line, I become unsafe, but what I want to try to do is run over, take the object, run it back to my side, and if I can do that without getting tagged by this team over here, we get to keep it. So then I would take this object, and I'm going to put it in one of our hula hoops, but there can only be 2 objects in each hula hoop, no more than 2, okay? Now, if I'm on this team, I can also guard. You can have one guard. The guard can stand in front of the hula hoop. I can't stand in the hula hoop in front. If somebody comes over, I can tag them. If they get tagged, they sit down. So one side is going to have jerseys. Jack, I'm going to have you help me demonstrate. Jack is going to stand up. He's on that team over there. If Jack comes over to this side, and I tag him, he sits down. He has to wait for one of his teammates to come and rescue him by coming over and taking his hand, and then they get free backs over to their side. So if Isabella's on his team, because she's got a jersey, she comes over without getting tagged, takes his hand. You guys got to stay connected though. And just hold hands or grab each other's wrists, and then they get free backs. Okay? Now, if I were to tag Bella, she has to sit down. But she did not get tagged. Okay, now let's say Jack runs over and he makes it into the hula hoop without getting tagged. He's safe as long as he doesn't step out. He can only take one object at a time. But I cannot tag him, but as soon as he steps out, I can tag him. And if that happens, he gives me the object and he sits down. Okay, now let's say that Stella comes over and she runs over to the blue hula hoop and she gets into the hula hoop. I cannot take her. I would have to wait for her to step out. Let's say she steps out and she runs across and she makes it all the way across without getting tagged. What does she get to do? She gets to keep that object. So she would put it in one of her hula hoops that is empty, or she could put it in one with one other object. Okay? You can only have one kid inside of a hula hoop at a time. When you're on your side, you're safe. So I'm safe over here if I have no jersey on. But if I cross over the red line, I can be tagged. What happens when you get tagged? You sit down and wait for somebody to rescue you. Okay, one last thing. If Stella was coming over, she has an option. She can take an object or she can rescue. She cannot do 2 things at the same time. So she cannot rescue Jack and then grab a jersey quickly and go back over. You cannot do that. You can only do one thing. So sometimes kids come over and let's say she comes over and she was going to rescue Jack, but then she decided and she changed her mind and she can quickly run into the hula hoop instead. So go ahead and run into the hula hoop. And she can do that instead. Let's say it's really tricky for her to take an object because maybe I'm guarding her. She can just quickly decide to rescue Jack instead. Okay, so she has to make that choice. If you fall down and you're on the opposite side, you automatically sit down. If you fall down on your side, well, there's nothing really that you can do. Okay? Does this make sense? Do you guys have questions? Jimmy, do you have a question?
Yeah, what if you would take 2 things at the same time?
Then you're not following the rules, right? So you can only take one object at a time. We'll start when I say go. So let's have all the kids in jerseys on this side, all the kids with no jerseys on this side. Yeah, I'll press it. Ellie, can you put that in the...
gonna stop it? Okay, I got